I sell legal highs because originally it started when I was a drug addict myself, and I found drugs really hard to get away from, and I used a legal high called Spice, not the Spice people think today, but a legal high brand called Spice to get myself off weed. And I did that very successfully, and I've seen quite a niche in the market and a need for other people who didn't want to go to drug dealers or be involved in that type of life. A lot of people do kind of take drugs as a vice, which kind of eventually takes hold of them, a lot because of their lifestyle. So I used it as a way to get people off drugs and eventually off legal highs so they can kind of cope with their own lives themselves rather than having a crutch to rely on.
Now, we've heard so much about legal highs, but a lot of people still don't know much about them really. Like, do they come in different forms? Like, is there all sorts of ways that you can consume them?
Yeah, they come in a herbal-based, herbs. They come in a powder form and they come in a tablet form. Obviously, one you smoke, one's a pill, so obviously take it, one's a powder, so obviously sniff that. But obviously, as we all know, legal highs are not meant to be approved for human consumption by the FDA.
Now, do you believe that they are safe?
I believe some are safe if they're practiced responsibly, but to be honest, with the government keep making bans on legal highs they know nothing about, a lot of the dangerous ones have been banned, which is good, but a lot of the good ones, I use the term good because I can't entirely say it's safe because obviously everyone's individual, but the good ones have also been banned. So to me, that's made manufacturers, whether it's in China or UK or whatever, forced to make other things. So whether these people are just doing it to make money or because they don't care or because they care, whatever the motivation is, you've now forced these people to act upon what the government's done. So if the government ban everything that's good, that's taking all the goodness away from the market. So all we're going to be left with is all the bad and dangerous ones, and that's what's happening now. Not to mention all the counterfeit gear that's going about, which is a completely whole other story that no one seems to know much about.
Now, we don't know where they've come from, but there has been a lot of bad media about them. We've had families come to us saying that their lives have been devastated because the kids have got onto them and things like that. What are your thoughts around all the negativity towards it?
Well, my first thought of what you said is kids shouldn't get hold of this at all. I think where a lot of the problems come in is distribution. Like, at the end of the day, like, no one should deal drugs, but if you've got a marijuana dealer that only sells to people over 21 who have got their own job and live on their own, leading their own lives, still not the best thing in the world, but it's better than serving to a 13-year-old kid who spends $5 pocket money trying to get high on the street and collapsing, which is what we've seen. The head shops need to be run in a stringent way, like mine was. I had bouncers in my shop. I used to police the streets. I used to police the shopping centre. I had 16 cameras in my shop so I could watch everything. I used to spend 8.5 hours a day just watching cameras so I can see if anybody's passing money, see if anyone's talking to kids, anyone hanging around in gangs. Like, I went above and beyond the call of duty of what I needed to do, and I've done a lot more than the police and the council have done in the town, and that's why my area has been mostly okay. The area of where the big market in my shop became a problem because Space 2 opened, which was a really good idea for young people, helping them get jobs and keep them motivated and keep them entertained and keep them off the streets. But that shouldn't have been opened next to a legal high shop. That's the worst thing they could have done. And as soon as Space 2 left, if you notice, that part of town, there wasn't that many problems with legal highs in that part of town. Now, if that was there before me and I was going to open my legal high shop there, I wouldn't have opened my legal high shop there. There's no way you need young'uns involved next to a legal high shop. It's just a complete conflict of interest, and to me that's where a lot of the problems have come in, because it's allowed a lot of younger people who might not have come across it to see it.
So would you say that is really the main problem with the market? It is just so unregulated?
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's like alcohol. Like, if every 13-year-old today thought, I'm going to go out and buy 4 cans and get drunk, that's a bad idea. But we all know that's not going to happen, because when they go to the shopkeeper will go, do you have any ID? You look about 12. Not going to serve you. It's against the law. Now, even though we kind of have some laws in the legal high market, there isn't actually any sustainable laws to do anything. All the laws I've carried myself with, the laws I've made up, so I know I'm doing the best job that I can in the most stringent way to make sure people who are under 18 don't get it. I even raised the bar of the age limit in my shop to 21. So young'uns couldn't get it. You're obviously always going to get people who are going to come in and buy things for people, but again, that's where vetting people and education comes in. Like, in my shop, you had to sign up. It's easier to get a loan from Barclays than it is to sign up to my shop. Well, was.
Why do people take legal highs? Is there a different range of reasons?
I think with people, whether it's drink, drugs or legal highs, a lot of it's a coping mechanism. Some people it's just a vice. Some people can pick it up and take it or leave it and just have it on a weekend and carry on with their lives. But this country's dying. We're £100 billion plus in debt with ourselves. Like the NHS has fallen, their doctors have been on strike, there's no resources, there's no hours, there's no doctors, there's no money going around. So like take myself, I suffer with bipolar, borderline and depression, which is hard enough itself on a daily basis. So for a lot of people like me out there, we do need some kind of coping mechanism, whether it's just to get us through the day or help us battle our demons or give us a head change or make us feel a bit better. But people are always going to want that. So if you keep taking the good choices away from them, you're just allowing them to make bad choices themselves. Or what's better, does the government just want to ban legal highs and just get all these people on drinks so they can kill the liver and the kidneys and just sozzle away the body? Like, most of my family are alcoholics and not one of them's in a good state of health. Like, I've seen a lot more detriment from alcohol than any legal high or drug.
Now, I know from what we've said then, if we were to summarise that, I spoke to a mum from the northeast who said that her son bought legal highs for £1 in the city centre from just a random guy that came up to him. He went on to have a really bad addiction to them, he said, and it, obviously loads and loads of problems happened then. You sell them. What makes you different to a seller like that?
Well, the first thing is I wouldn't be on the street selling things for £1 to children. I think that's the first problem of what you said. And I think also that's come in because the government and the police have gone round and shut all these shops. So all these unscrupulous people who want to make a quick quid or a quick fiver now know they can go and do that because there's not a safe place for people to go and ask about these. Not even buy these things, ask about these things. So that's where your problems are coming in. Like, the government and the police and the council have created this. And I've had many meetings with the police and the council regarding this. And I've been trying to tell them this for a year and a half. And this is exactly what's happened. And since my shop closed down on the 2nd of December, I've been inundated with texts and Facebook messages about people wanting to buy clean gear, people not trusting who they're buying off, people just being ill and having various side effects off what they've been taking. But that's because what a lot of people don't realise now is there's a lot of counterfeit gear going around the town as well. So what you've done is you've shut all the safe havens. I know a lot of people disagree with that term of expression, but you have shut all the safe havens where people could go and get advice and can get some help. Like, my shop have helped people off drugs, we've helped people off legal highs, we've helped people back into work, we've helped people with social services, we've helped people still fill in dole forms. Like, we were there as a central hub for people, not to exploit people, not just to take money. Obviously it's a business, so that's what we're there for, but there has to be a duty of care with this. You can't just be selling it like a box of cornflakes to anybody. And like, not to mention that you need to vet people. Like, people could have a heart condition, people have certain mental disorders, people are on certain medication that might not go with this. You need to know all this about a person before you sell to them.
Do you think that it is going to be possible to ban? I know that we're looking at April, May time when there's going to be this ban right across the country. I think it's going to be very possible to ban. Like, they've already banned loads, and like I say, as a result, they've banned a lot of the good ones. Now, to me, like, the legal high market is getting worse, and I would say at least 70% of the products out there are very dangerous. But again, it's not just one product. A lot of people might put it in the same category as some harder drugs as well as cannabis. Like, they want that to be legalised. Do you not think that it is just going to be put in that category? It's always going to be seen as a dangerous thing. It should be banned.
I think, again, that's more down to distribution. Like, again, like I said about marijuana, obviously selling marijuana is not a good thing. But if you've got someone who's 30 that's only selling marijuana to people over 25, and he spends a lot of time vetting these people to make sure they're okay and they don't abuse it, and when they start abusing it, they cut them off until they're okay, and they can, like, even like when I had my shop, like, some people come in very smart, and then after about a week they look a bit scruffy, they're not had a shower. So we just wouldn't serve that person until they've come back and done their hair, had a bath, had a shower, sorted themselves out and been to work. So, like, you've got to work with your customers. You can't just sell it to them and expect them just to go away. You have to have a duty of care. And again, this is the problem with distribution. It is becoming more like a drug market now because you've got drug dealers dealing it. Like, and obviously, I'm not saying for anything, there is some good drug dealers out there who do care about what they do, but if you've got someone with a drug dealer mindset who doesn't really care about people, who just wants to make money, and they've seen a niche in legal highs, thought, well, I'll just bash that out. That's their attitude. That's not my attitude.
Now the council, the police, paramedics are all working towards getting legal highs off the streets. They reckon by shutting shops down, that'll save lives. Would you agree?
Well, no, because my shop got shut down in December, and all I've heard from the town since is that everyone's been ill, everyone's been rushed to hospital, people have died, people are having bad side effects. Like, it's got a lot worse since I left, and like the term of expression you just used, that even the police and the council and the ambulance people have seen a surge and spike in legal high fatalities since I left. So I am the lesser of two evils for this town.
The council did say to us that sellers are putting lives at risk. I know we have just discussed this, but they say that they are partly to blame for the hospital admissions, for the spike in call-outs, for the antisocial behaviour, because of the ease of access. I'm assuming, obviously, you know that that's not true. It is the people on the streets.
Yeah, see, ease of access, like, say, again, with my shop, there was no ease of access. You'd have to spend 20 minutes with me before I served you. You'd have to fill in 3 forms in a contract before I served you. You'd have to listen to a lot of education about how to be well, how to practice responsibly, how much to take. A lot of people are afraid to say this because everything's not approved for human consumption. But again, like, the people who do care out there, you're stopping them by caring, by taking away the tools for them to do their job properly. Now, if someone goes into a store to buy legal high, and that store owner is paranoid that if he says anything about consuming this product, he's going to lose his business tomorrow, then you're not giving him the confidence to do his job properly. I personally don't really care about trading standards or the council. If it comes to people's safety, I'll advise them. My shop could have got shut down at any time, but I had my shop 6 years without an ounce of problem. Even when parents have come in, they've not been angry at me. They come for advice because they need help. So again, it's about regulation. All banning things does is drive stuff underground, and we've seen that in the town in the last month. Like you just said, there's people selling it on the street for £1. What other people don't realise is when you have a shop, you have a recommended retail price. So people expect a certain quality and a certain price for a product. So people have that in the mindset. You're not going to get that on the street. Mm-hmm. So like, this could have been bashed in someone's bathroom for all you know.
Do you think that there is some people who do have a shop, but it is still quite dodgy? With the council, they've just closed down a shop in Fenham, and they actually bumped into someone that was buying, that said she did buy legal highs from them. She was pregnant, and she was quite open about that. Do you think that, like, obviously you wouldn't allow that with all the kind of the questions and things that you have to ask, that obviously there was a shop doing that, whether it was knowingly or not? What do you think about that? To
be honest, I think that's disgusting. Like obviously when I had my shop, like I say, we'd vet people. If anyone came to my shop pregnant, like, I didn't care if you got £1 million, I just wouldn't serve you with anything. Like, you're damaging 2 lives now. If, like, at the end of the day, you can't have a semantical argument about the motivation of why somebody takes something. If that's the case, we'll just get rid of all tabs, all drugs, all alcohol, and we'll all just be sensible. But that's not the world we live in. But you can't allow someone to make that choice for a baby. Like, it's grown inside them. Like, even like, some people who are 19 and 20 are still not developed enough in their brain to be taking all this kind of stuff. So you can't be serving pregnant people. And if someone who's pregnant who's addicted, then again, if they came to a head shop and they had a word with me, I can go, okay, well, you're addicted, I'm not going to serve you, but what can we do to help you? Now, that's not going to happen now. That person's just going to go to another shop and buy off someone who's a bit more unscrupulous than the last and not care. And again, that's not good practice. We need to share best practice. We all need to be responsible for one another. We all have this big argument, like, we're all against each other. It's not. Like, this is a town, this is a community, and like, we can't just take away a coping mechanism from people who need it. But again, that's where regulation comes in. If regulation was in, all this stuff would be tested before it went to sale. I don't know if I am, but to me, I'm the only person in the UK that's like tests everything before I sell it, and like, that's not really good for my health because I'm taking products that are way above my potency level. But I need to understand what I'm selling. Like, if you even look at my site now, there's not a lot of pills or powders, but that's because I'm not confident in the stuff that's going around in the market at the moment. So I'll only put on my site what I'm comfortable with and what I'm confident with, and that I can explain to people or help people if they need.
Now, you say people will always buy them, they will always try to get them, like you say, to cope. Are you quite scared about what's going to happen when it does go on the black market?
To be honest, like, it's happening now. Like, it's just going to get worse in May. Like, it's all been driven underground in Newcastle now. Like, I get Facebook messages off people who are like selling 40 to 50 grams of it a day, and these are just people. Now these people are trying to buy off me so they can sell in the town because they know my gear is safe. But at the same time, I don't want to sell to these people in bulk either, because I don't know who these people are going to sell to. I don't know these people are going to go, well, no, you're not 21, so I'm not going to serve you. No, you're pregnant, I'm not going to serve you. No, you've not been to work for a week, I'm not going to serve you. No, you look like a bit of a tramp, not going to serve you. All these things have to be taken into account. You can't just serve anybody. And again, I'm more hated in this town for not serving people in my shop. I think that says it all, really.